All eyes were on South Florida during last year's chaotic recount of the midterm elections, with allegations of voter fraud and incompetence directed at then Broward Supervisor of Elections Brenda Snipes. As one of his last acts as governor, Senator Rick Scott appointed Peter Antonacci to take over elections in Broward County. A former state attorney and head of Enterprise Florida, the new supervisor attributes management failure for the election mess and vows to fix the problems. Here to share more is Broward County's new super of elections, Peter Antonacci. Pete, great to have you with us.
Good afternoon.
It's great to have you here to talk about what your plans are going forward. So let's go back to what happened. It was that messy, protracted voter recount after the midterm elections. A lot of people were calling for Brenda Snipes to resign. She did. Then Governor Scott came in, removed her from office. She rescinded the resignation, threatened a lawsuit. And we know now that Governor DeSantis has gone back and reversed what Governor Scott did. But why did Governor Scott remove her from office? Was he just playing politics, or did he want to put you in and that's what he needed to do?
I can't speak for Governor Scott why he made that decision, but for my part, I think it was the right decision. The office had gone through a traumatic period. There are 72 people that work there, and hundreds and hundreds, and in November's case, thousands of private citizens are poll workers at our elections. We needed to get morale back to where it needs to be for our upcoming March elections. We have municipal elections in Broward County, March 12th, and now we have a special election for a House district seat in April. So I think it was important because people don't realize how complex elections are these days. So I arrived in Fort Lauderdale the 1st of December, and the staff was already preparing. The steps that had to be taken to prepare for the March 12th election were already taking place. So I think it was important to stand up the systems that we need to make for a successful election.
Yeah, you're no stranger to leadership positions. As we were mentioning, President and CEO of Enterprise Florida. You were the head of the South Florida Water Management District, District Attorney for Palm Beach County. What kinds of skills do you bring to this position of Supervisor of Elections?
I think the common thing that I try to bring is enthusiasm. And I think in any public service job, if you take it seriously, the mission, and you respect the people that are working around you and are determined to provide a service for the people who pay for it, you taxpayers, then it's fulfilling. And so enthusiasm is my first goal, and I hope I portray that and convey that every day.
You're also a Republican, now with a job in a predominantly Democratic county. There have been critics who said that you might perhaps sway things more in the direction of Republican candidates. What do you say to that criticism?
Keep an eye on me. keep me on a straight and narrow path, because our election code is very good, and it is objective, and it forces the people who implement it to do things in an objective way. And if you don't, you're off the rails, and it becomes very apparent. So I'll be forcing objectivity on our system, and if I'm successful, people will be able to have some confidence in the outcomes.
You have already spoken publicly about what you think went wrong in the midterm elections that led to all of this, one of them being poor management. So lay out for us what your thoughts are regarding how we got to that messy recount.
Well, Brenda Snipes should be thanked for her long public service. She was a school teacher for many years, and principal and supervisor, so thank you for your service, Brenda Snipes. However, there were some very poor decisions that were made in the run-up to the election. Things that had to do with budget, things that had to do with making sure that vacant positions were filled, things that had to do with ordering equipment and making sure that the critical equipment you need on election night is sufficient and operational. So in the elections world, it's a world of very tiny decisions, but those tiny decisions have an outsized domino effect and make for potential disaster unless you attend to the very small things, even starting with budget decisions, making sure that you have the equipment you need. We did not.
And then one of the issues too were the absentee ballots. A lot of those absentee ballots came in after they were due. Talk to us and walk us through the issues with the absentee ballots, because a lot of folks love to get that absentee ballot and vote that way. But you're saying what? The public needs to be better educated about using them?
I think so. Here's something to keep in mind. Not 15 years ago, there were two ways to vote in Florida. You signed up on Election Day, just like we do now, or you voted absentee. To vote absentee, you had to file an affidavit swearing that you were going to be out of the state and unavailable and all this kind of stuff. And so absentee ballots were a very tiny, tiny percentage of the whole. Now we have three ways to vote. You can vote early, you can vote on Election Day, and you can vote by mail. We don't even call them absentee ballots anymore. We call them BBMs, vote by mail.
Vote by mail.
Right. And so the public has to get accustomed to doing vote by mail. And one of the things that is in the election code is a kind of forced finality. To get things done, to settle things in a democracy, it's important to settle our differences at the polls and then close it up and move on. Sure. And one mechanism to do that is that vote by mail ballots are not accepted for counting after 7 o'clock on Election Day. We had thousands and thousands in Broward County that came in after 7 o'clock on Election Day. And it's because people mailed them untimely, or we're relying on the post office. So that's a different system, and you're relying on the post office, and there's lots of jokes. For those who are familiar with Seinfeld, there's lots of jokes about the post office on Seinfeld show and others. So people got to get that ballot in early. And if they do, their vote will be counted.
So it's really incumbent upon the voter to know the process and to get it into the office on time.
That's right.
Then your vote won't count. Let's talk about Amendment 4 passed by the voters. That allows felons who have done their time, paid their restitution, to have their voting rights restored. So how is that now going to be implemented?
Actually, it allows some felons to get their rights restored. It carves out homicide and sexual offenses. Now, those two terms have not been defined, and so until the legislature defines them, anybody who falls in that category of a convicted felon and wants to have the opportunity to vote can register to vote. We operate on the honor system in Florida. You sign an oath when you register to vote to say everything is correct on the application. And one of the things you're saying is that you're eligible to vote because you're a convicted felon and you fall within that category that you can now vote. So people are being allowed to register. The Florida legislature will take up the matter this year. They will likely provide some definitional elements that will help the supervisors and the voters figure out whether they're eligible to vote or not, and the system will work. People have spoken on the issue. 62% of the people voted for it, so we're going to implement it.
Going back to the office, have you made any big personnel changes there yet? Have you let anybody go?
It's important to communicate that there's a different way of doing things in town. So yes, I've taken employment action against a handful of individuals. They're at the top end of the system. And everybody else that's there is under my scrutiny every day. And people need to perform. What we do is the linchpin of making democracy work in our country. And we have a lot of really good people there who are dedicated to the vote and the right to vote. So we'll keep an eye on them every day to make sure that they perform. And in 2020, the voters of Broward County will be able to elect someone at their polling places to be supervisor going forward.
Quickly, a lot of folks may not know, because you do live in Tallahassee, that you grew up here in South Florida. Tell us a little bit about that and what it's like being back down here.
I'm very proud to say that I'm a graduate of Immaculate Conception School in Hialeah and Hialeah High School and Miami-Dade Community College North Campus. So
you're a shark.
South Florida is home, and it's good to be here.
Well, it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And we'll be watching you.
All right,
we'll be
keep an eye
watching to
on
see
me.
what happens with the voter recount. We will.
I hope so.
Thanks so much again.
Thank you.
And do you have a comment or a question about this or other topics on today's program? We'd love to hear from you. You can connect with us on Facebook or Twitter at Your South FL. While you're there, you can catch up on past segments of Your South Florida and, of course, stay up to date on the latest news and events happening in your community.